Alright, and still boxing fight fans, big news. Daniel Dubois is out, and stepping in on short notice is the dangerous, highly avoided Martin Bakole. This changes everything for Joseph Parker and makes this fight on February 22nd in Saudi Arabia even more interesting. Can Parker adjust to the last minute switch between Bakole and take full advantage of that opportunity and score up a major upset? Let's break it down. Now let's talk about some fighter profiles. Joseph Parker, age 33, record of 35-3 and 23 KOs, height 6'4", reach 76 centimeters, fighting out of New Zealand. Now, Park has been on fire lately. His wins over Deontay Wilder and Zhilei Zhang, Big Bang Zhang, put him right back into the mix of the world heavyweight title. He's known for his speed, technical ability, and more recently, his improved stamina and that ring IQ. Now, against Wilder, he controlled the fight beautifully, avoided the big right hand, and showed how smart and disciplined he has become. Now, instead of facing a more predictable power puncher in Daniel Dubois, Parker's now has to adjust to a very different challenge in Bakole, a bigger, trickier fighter who brings a whole different set of problems. Now, Martin Bakole. He's age 33, same age, record of 21 fights, 1 loss, 16 KOs. Now, he's 6'6", 198 centimeters tall. Now, fighting out of the way of Scotland, by the way of Congo. Now, Bakole is a nightmare matchup for a lot of heavyweights, which is why many have avoided him. He has fast hands, excellent range management, and throws fluid combinations. Here's the thing, all right? Once you get backing up, he starts slowly rumbling forward, and from there, it's a very, very slippery slope. He's also extremely durable. Bakole has a solid chin and calm, composed ring presence. Unlike Dubois, who's been known to fade later in the rounds, Bakole manages his energy well, making him dangerous for all 12 rounds. Now, historically speaking, last-minute replacements have been known to cause upsets, and to me, this is a recipe for disaster, potentially for Parker. How does Bakole compare with Dubois? Well, in my opinion, he's actually a tougher fight for Parker, and here's why. Bakole throws punches in bunches and does it quickly. He's not a one-punch knockout guy, but he will break you down relentlessly, as we saw against Jared Anderson. At 6'6", with a huge frame, he leans on opponents, he wears them down, he starts to impose his will. That 6'6" frame's massive. Now, unlike Dubois, who can be pretty stiff and hittable, Bakole moves his head well, parries his shots, and counters really, really effectively. He doesn't just walk forward recklessly, he picks his moments, and that's the big difference between Dubois and him. He's not going to fade like Dubois in those later rounds. Parker will not have that luxury of waiting him out. Now, one of Bakole's most dangerous weapons is that left hook. All right, something I've really observed watching his last 2 fights. He can use it both defensively and offensively. Really keeps those opponents at bay, and then suddenly turns that jab into a hook, and he does some serious damage with it. Now, those front hand options are really, really key for Bakole. Now, some people compare him to Zhilei Zhang, but I actually think Bakole is even more dangerous. He's younger, faster. He doesn't slow down the way Zhang did against Parker, so it's going to prove to be a big challenge. Now, some of the key factors in this fight. So what does this mean for Parker? Well, it's the same principles as he was going to prepare for Dubois, but with some big adjustments. Now, the movement and footwork. Parker cannot afford to stand and trade. Bakole thrives on bullying opponents, walking them down. Now, Parker has to use his ring IQ, move, pivot, pick his shots, everything that he was going to do against Dubois. Again, like we said in our previous video, Parker has a great chin. Bakole's pressure and volume could wear him down over time. He needs to be mindful of those heavy shots. Bakole is very, very heavy-handed, piling up round after round. Now, the stamina in late rounds, now this is the biggest part where it differs. Against Dubois, Parker, he could have planned to drag him out into those deep waters and finish him over late. That's not necessarily the case here. Bakole can fight at that steady pace all night, so Parker has to be sharp from the opening bell. Regardless, if there's one big advantage what Parker has, it's his experience. He's been there with the best, Joshua Wilder, White, Chisora again, but he's seen it all. Bakole was talented, but he hasn't faced that top-level competition yet. Yes, the win over Jared Anderson was impressive, but Parker was a different level. The question is, can Parker use that experience to neutralize Bakole's pressure and that unpredictability? Now, some final thoughts, and maybe sort of a semi-prediction. Now, this fight is a tougher matchup than the original one, with Daniel Dubois. Parker's path to victory in this particular moment is going to be his movement, his intelligence. He's picking the right moments to attack. He cannot afford to get into a firefight with that big beast of Bakole. He looks like the second coming of George Foreman. He's caught my attention with that Anderson win and that Takam win. Now, for Bakole, the game plan will be likely similar to how Anderson fought. He fought Jared Anderson, absorb those shots, look for the counters, and then start bullying forward. Now, if Parker isn't careful, Bakole could make this a very long night for him. Very, very long. Now you have to tell me who wins. All right, if Parker wins, it's going to be because of his superior ring IQ, speed, movement, and likely take a decision, late stoppage. Maybe, if he can tire out Bakole. Bakole probably will win if it's because that he's walked Parker down, broke him down, either stopped him late or won a pretty decisive decision. Now, personally, I see this fight as another 50-50, but Parker's a more proven fighter, but Bakole's a serious threat, and arguably a worse stylistic matchup for him than Dubois. Now, I want to know what you guys think. Right, is Parker in trouble? Or he's going to prove once again that he's one of the smartest fighters in the division, very fast, smart, and everything. You let us know. This is End Still Boxing. This is the new fight. I cannot wait. 22nd. I'll see you there.
Thank you.